I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It's Two Queers in a Truck time, and it's September 11th. And unless you've been under the rock for the last 20-something years, you know that this is a significant day. In fact, I didn't really think about this because we record these in advance, so this is in real time. It's not September 11th. But in my mind, I wasn't even thinking about that when I prepped this morning, nor did I do any September 11th stories or anything like that. And quite frankly, I'm sure most people are probably worn out about September 11th. I think it was a horrible day in history. And this is all I'm going to say. Again, this Two Queers in a Truck with Christian and Jenny. And it was a horrible day, and it altered a lot of people's lives for a long, long time. But I'm glad that we've removed ourselves from the theaters of war that we started. Invading Iraq and Afghanistan. I wasn't in favor of when we did it, and I'm still going to go on record as I considered crimes against humanity when you invade essentially almost a defenseless countries compared to our power, beat them down, kill over 1 million people of color, and then tip back home like nothing ever happened. In that scenario, the United States is the villain. Just remember that. And in life, we should never punch down. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I have a disdain for war. Anyway, on more brighter subjects, the Hawk Tui girl is back in the news. She is spit on that thing. Speaking of spit, she's getting her own talk show. Better.
No way.
A broadcasting company that's based out of Canada is developing a show for her, and it's supposed to launch this month. And it's called Talk Tui. And it sounds super cute. She says people can get to know the real Haley Welch, and it's going to be about rainbows and ponies and the things that she enjoys life, like her fur babies and so much more. So it's and they're gonna have guests and things of that nature. So it's two things I'll say about that. One, people ask me all the time how I got into podcasting and, how cool it is and how I must be qualified. Look, first of all, Christian and I, any bootleg person with a camera can do these shows. Second of all, never take medical or legal advice or anything that would alter your life from anybody, whether it's Haley Welch, Joe Rogan. This is no shade on anybody, but we have absolutely no qualifications. We're jackasses with cameras. And
and internet.
Christian and I do have had professional lives outside of this. But we have absolutely just don't take really serious advice from us. So, other than go register to vote and things like that. But dear God, don't take life altering stuff like, I don't know, medical. Just don't take us too serious. Like, take us serious enough to listen or watch us, have fun with it, take it with a grain of salt, because these podcasts, no matter what they are not meant, unless it's taught by somebody like Dr. B or something like that.
Unless it's like a medical podcast or something.
And he's talking about brain surgery and being a brain doctor. Absolutely. If they've got a true accreditation, absolutely. But most podcasts are people like Christian and I, everyday people that have decided that we think that people want to listen to us and have fun with it. And Haley's no different. You know, her only qualification was she was coming out of a bar and she said something insanely funny, and and kind of true. You do need to spit on it, but it's you know, but it's not rocket science. I'm not a rocket doctor, and neither is Christian. We're relatively intelligent human beings that have fun with this. We do get serious at times, you know, because we do talk about some serious subjects. We talk about a lot of human rights. We talk a lot about civil rights, especially on our sister show. You know, but this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be entertainment. This is why people tune in every week and do that. And first of all, I'm really excited for it. I actually think it is for the young lady, because she is really, really young. I think she's only like 23, 24.
Yeah.
And she's like a little bartender, girly pop type thing. She's cute. She's funny. I hope her all the success. She's probably going to have millions of listeners immediately just because it turned into a summer phenomenon. And what a smart thing for that podcast company, that broadcasting company, to grab a hold of the 15 minutes of fame and maybe turn it into a career for this young lady. And
I'm sorry we didn't think about it.
I know. I mean, because we've spent on that thing for 30 years at least, you know, and like
exactly.
I'm like, damn, I'm just as funny as she is. How did I not get the contract? But you know, it's one of those things. I call it lightning in the bottle. She just was the right place at the right time and got interviewed by the right person. And
good for her.
And it's a cool thing. I'm not one of those people who gets jealous because, you know, she's going to become rich and famous because of this. But, you know, I love that for her. And I love it because she seems to be, from the interviews I've seen her actually going when they've interviewed and not talked about the spit on that thing, but actually talked to her as a person. She seems very adorable. She's like a puppy, you know, just kind of playful and high energy and kind of goofy. And, you know,
she's not going to be like an MTG or Laura Boebert.
No, I don't even think she's conservative at all. But she's just a funny girl that's gonna, I think, be pretty funny on the air, and I hope she can keep that same kind of charm that she did in that video, the same silliness and the whimsy, and as long as she doesn't take herself too serious and all of a sudden get a little preachy, but she stays funny and cute. I think she's going to have a massive following. I think she's got that kind of that Britney down home, that young Britney Spears, that kind of that there's a little bit of goofiness, there's a little bit of a tongue in cheek, there's a little bit of playfulness that people go, oh, she's adorable, and there's more to her than we thought. And you know, and so, which I think will make a great broadcaster. I mean, I personally, if she's on one of the platforms I subscribe to, I'll listen to her show. I mean, I'm very curious how she spits on that thing. You know, maybe I can get some pointers. You know, but anyway, speaking of spitting on that thing and all that, JD Vance on a campaign stop openly begged in his speech for Peter Thiel, the gay billionaire conservative, to finance Trump's in his campaign, and one because they have a history together, so they went to school together. A lot of people don't know that how JD Vance is connected to Peter Thiel. They both went to Yale together, and so they've known each other for decades. And Peter Thiel fronted JD Vance the money to run for Senate, and so they've been connected for a long time. They pushed the Republican Party to nominate JD Vance, but he isn't necessarily comfortable funding Trump's campaign another time. He did in 2016, but he really doesn't want to have another go at funding it. And there's a lot of reasons, which I think is interesting. First of all, Peter Thiel is one of those guys that is kind of a weird mix of people. He's a gay man that's also a devout Catholic, and a conservative Catholic at that. In fact, J.D. Vance kind of pulled a single white female. He converted to Catholicism because of Peter Thiel. Which there's so many priest jokes, there's so many things you can put in your mouth, and this thing, literally speaking, and just put it on that thing, which is also weird because J.D. Vance's wife still is a practicing Hindu.
Huh.
Which
very interesting.
So bizarre how white Republicans, which is most of the party, especially the religious part of the Republican Party, which is the majority of the people, how the Christianity, we're a Christian nation and all that, and your guy that's running for the second in command job is married to a practicing Hindu. And it's no knock on Hinduism. I just think it's ironic that, it's not a Hindu nation, according to them, even though she's more than welcome to practice her faith. I have no issue with Hinduism. I just think it's ironic because those aren't my words; it's their words, including Mr. Vance's words, and how he grew up Protestant, by the way. Like he converted to Catholicism because of Peter Thiel late in life. Like it was not a childhood thing, which I think is very
very interesting.
Very strange because J.D. Vance's history of cross-dressing and supposedly sofa romance, and also the fact that Peter Thiel is gay, and that they probably bonded at Yale, and have had a lifetime of bonding. I don't know. The more you peel back, the weirder. Not that being gay is weird. It's not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more that J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel are the opposite of what Republicans want to protect.
Yeah.
As far as their queerness, as far as their behaviors, as far as who they are as people. I think at the minimum, J.D. Vance is a minimum bisexual.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I don't know if he's gay, but I think his boyfriend was. And there's just too many things in his history. He's way too comfortable going in drag. They're just straight men don't do that.
Yeah,
they just don't. And especially in a fairly upscale Ivy League school like Yale, like he didn't pose and make fun of drag queens. He looked like he was living his best life. And there's just things as a genderqueer person, as a sexually queer person as myself, I can see an egg. I can spot an egg that hasn't hatched yet. And a little queer egg like J.D. Vance, sooner or later he's going to come out and just be singing show tunes, and we're going to meet his husband, and and his current wife's going to be long gone. And it's going to be interesting, and maybe he'll write the sequel to the Hillbilly Elegy. Goes Rainbow. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be a picture book, which then we'll know that J.D. Vance actually wrote it. But anyway, I just find it very interesting. I find it interesting that they have to beg for money, as Kamala's raised $500 million in about 6 weeks, $540 million to date, which is an incredible amount of money that her campaign has raised. But it probably shows how scared the Republicans are, including the top of the ticket. And it's reality when they're basically begging for donations. But anyway, we'll be right back. This is our first commercial break, and we'll be back with some more Two Queers in a Truck. Hey y'all, thanks for watching Coffee and Pandosi, but I wanted to talk about something personal. I have started a company with a business partner of mine called Java Notes Records. And we have an Instagram page, and in our biography, or as the cool kids call it, the bio, we have a link to our Indiegogo page. If you go onto our Instagram or our Facebook, we have a campaign going for our Indiegogo, and it's helping us start this company that's going to help so many people between employment, charitable events, things of that nature. We're really doing this for our local community and really trying to help others and create a job for me too. But if you would go to our Instagram page for Java, like JVA Notes Records, and I would appreciate the support. Thanks for listening.
All right, y'all. So Instagram and Facebook, Java Notes
Records.
Right, got it. Java Notes Records. All right, thank y'all.
Hey, thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian and I just blathering on about craziness in the world today. Y'all be safe out there. There is a lot of Republicans on the road.
That's right.
Have a good week.
Bye.
And we are back. But I just think it's very bizarre that you go, please, sir, can I polish your knobs and your silverware for a little bit of a donation today? You know, and it's very, very bizarre. It's very, very sad. It's not sad. You know, I'm not sad for them. They rode this wave, I think, as long as they can ride it. And now that extremely popular, extremely likable, younger, more intelligent, like the intelligence between her and Trump, the gap could fill the Grand Canyon. Like we're not talking about Trump's never been the best and brightest of the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. And the MAGA movement in general, they did not bring bring me your intelligence. Like there's not a think tank amongst them. Like they hire think tanks, but they're not in that think tank. Like they are taking advice from the think tank. But they're not. They're no rocket doctors either. And Trump and J.D. Vance, they're not really qualified to do anything else. And other than him getting lucky writing this one book, and it probably was ghostwritten for him, and it probably helped him with the big words, because his book itself, from what I understand, has a lot of empathy, has a lot of empathy for union workers and the working poor and things like that, which literally is nothing that J.D. Vance runs on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there is an irony that the Republican Party has such a disdain for unions that they didn't even really talk about it over this last week, Labor Day weekend. And you look at the opposite.
They never do. Yeah.
Joe Biden was the son of a union worker, and it was the most pro-labor president we've had in probably 60 or 70 years. Mm-hmm. Look at the difference between the two parties, folks. One is of the people and is pro-union and pro-labor, the working people of America. And other people are polishing the silverware and the knobs of billionaires. What do we need to give away to you, the 1%, for you to donate money to us and support us? If that doesn't say everything about the Republican Party, I don't know. It is us versus them. It's us versus the ruling class. If you want to vote for oligarchs and dictators, by all means, vote for Republicans. Sure, you can do that. It's not a good look. And then history's going to judge you as a dumbass. But, hey, to each their own, it's not one of those things that, to me, is necessarily something I'd want to be known for. And I'll tell you, a couple hot takes that I had, that I noticed the differences between Republican. Not that it takes a lot of observation skills to notice the difference between the Republican and Democrat Party. And the only thing I agree with Mags on is that we are way two different people. I will agree. The chasm between our political parties, as far as heart is concerned, and our humanity, I completely agree. They're some of the most dehumanizing, cruel people I've ever fucking seen. The way they talked about Gus Waltz and the 17-year-old son that just showed his love for his dad, and how Republicans immediately started tweeting cruel shit about this kid that's also neurodivergent, whose sensory overload probably was going off the charts. And this kid, all he could do, he's 17. On top of that, he's a teenager. He's a teen boy. He's a child. And you're sitting here openly making fun of the kid that is just showing love for his dad. I guess they're not used to that because they eat their own. I don't know. I mean, I guess unless it's like Bobert's kid, getting another girl pregnant or stealing a car, I guess they are shooting somebody. They don't really recognize it because they're a 17-year-old kid, the little shooter kid from Wisconsin. I guess they want that. I guess they admire 17-year-olds that go and shoot innocent people.
I don't, and I also think that it is a. Sorry to interrupt you, Jen, but
go for it.
I was thinking about because I've been thinking about this too as well. That it really is stupid to do things like that. Just like it's stupid to go after LGBT plus individuals, because LGBT plus people with Alzheimer's, autism, people with any type of disability or any type of situation. It's not. They're in every family.
Yeah,
they're not just in Democratic families or people who live in Texas or Florida or Pennsylvania. There are conservative Republicans that have them in their family. Yeah. And so when you do that, you're basically telling them that their own children are not worthy and equal. And I think it really, I think it's just a stupid. It's ridiculous.
But it really shows who they are.
Exactly.
We not only got to see who Harris and Waltz are, and we got reminded of our humanity and how we love as a political party, as a group of people. We also got to see how they love.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point.
And they in many ways low key torpedo their own situation, and it's great. They're making sure that they remind us of how big of shitbags the Republican Party really are and how cruel they really are. Their cruelty's on full display at any one time. But damn, like, not that targeting trans kids isn't bad enough. Not that targeting racial minorities isn't bad enough. But damn, you did this to a 17-year-old white boy. To me, it's so bizarre how they just don't give a shit about anything that's decent. I'm not gonna even call it lack of morality. It's just absolute adherence to it. Yeah, they're just dicks. Like they are dictums. They want to be dictums, but they're absolute dicks. Like they're just not in a good way. I don't dislike them. I just dislike it by nature, like by your personality. Like the regular ones, the trouser snakes, I have no issue with whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's what got me into this problem.
That's right.
It's like the old joke, that Masters and Johnson's did a study of gay men, and they found 50% of gay men were born into it, and 50% of men were sucked into it. But anyway,
dun, dun.
wah, wah, wah. but anyway, we digress. But then
Yeah.
a bisexual lawmaker and childless cat lady, Jessica Benham, explains what she would tell J.D. Vance if she was able to. And she had a talk at a let's see, she's a Pennsylvania representative. Jessica Benham is running
Yeah.
for a third 2-year term in her heavily blue district in Pittsburgh, south of downtown, 2 rivers away from the Andy Warhol Museum, um, and and um, and primarily really close to where the Queer as Folk was filmed, 20 years
Oh,
ago.
okay. Yeah.
And so she identifies as a bisexual, and she speaks up freely about living with autism and how um the last time she ran, she won 78% of the vote in the general election in 2022. And in this last primary, she won 98% of the vote in her deal. So she's wildly popular, but the
Yeah.
30-year-old young woman is really getting aggressive about Republicans and really speaking out. One, because she's in a safe district, she doesn't have to worry about losing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
two, she's doing what we've been begging Democrats to do. People that are office holders, people running for office, get aggressive. We are the better and superior party in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Sell our brand, get aggressive, and call these SOBs out. And she openly is calling out JD Vance and other Republicans. And for her, she's calling out the Christian nationalism that they're espousing in Project 2025. She's saying, "Don't be stupid. Don't vote these fucks in. Don't go down that road of being afraid and looking the other way, because that's what happened in Germany. It was not that the Germans in the 1930s really loved Hitler. They just couldn't be bothered. The apathy of the German people, because Hitler was also saying, I'll restore the greatness. I'll make Germany great again. Blah, blah, blah. It's the others. It's the foreigners. It's the dirty foreigners that are coming in, the non-Germans and the non-Aryans, and slipping in all this racism and xenophobia and all the other things. And then at the beginning of rounding people up, they came for trans people first. It's a proven fact that the largest transgender, medical center was at that time in the world was in Germany, and they destroyed all the work, destroyed all the records, and obviously back then they didn't have it up on the cloud. It was like if you destroyed it, you destroyed it. It was gone forever. Including a lot of the surgical knowledge and things like that for bottom surgery, but they targeted queer people. And the playbook, they've been targeting trans people for 8 years now openly with bathroom bills and things like that. And I'm like, but now they've taken away abortion. They're taking away IVF, contraception, the ability to marry if you're a same gender, same sex couple. They're trying to bring back, not having mixed marriages and bringing back purity laws. I don't know what it takes for some people to say, "Holy shit, this is a problem." But you listen to people like this, Jessica. Listen to people like us. They're going, "Hey, they've been coming up for us for a while, but you need to be. It needs to take more than taking away Roe and taking away women's body autonomy for the first time in 50 years to get you to act. Like Americans need to be less apathetic towards participating. It doesn't take much to get registered to vote. First of all, it's free. Second of all, every state has a workaround. Even if you don't have an ID in North Carolina, you can get a free ID. You can get a voter ID where you just go down the election board and they'll give you just a voter ID to where when you go to the polls, It's free of charge. It doesn't cost you a damn dime. You can go down there and say, I don't have an ID. For whatever reason, you don't have an ID or you don't have a valid North Carolina ID. You can go down there and get a voter ID. Anybody can get it as long as you prove that you live here. And there's a bunch of easy ways. They'll walk you through it. You can call them. And it's available in all 100 counties in North Carolina, for example. But every state has that. They have some kind of workaround. And so there is no excuse on why you're not registered, because while you're done with getting an ID, you can register to vote.
Yeah.
And it works that way. And it's easy peasy. And quite frankly, I'm not a rocket doctor, but so if I can register to vote, you can too. Anyway, we're up against our second break, and we'll be back with some more Two Queers in a Truck. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Queers in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
But anyway, we are back. And I just want to reiterate that. Love your country and love your neighbors enough to fucking vote. I don't care who you want to vote for, but get registered. Get out there and vote. If you give a shit about your neighbor and you want to have a stake in the game, vote. If you want to motivate your friends and have a voting party, there's early voting for weeks at a time. Go down, vote. There's a lot of states that now have Saturday voting and Sunday voting, and the schedule's already up on the websites. And if it's not, it's going to be up pretty soon because the ballots are already formed in most states. That's actually why RFK couldn't come off the ballot, which I think is funny as fuck that he fucked around. How he found out. He wanted to wait until the DNC to try to steal thunder from the DNC, like him dropping out. Democrats are actually here because he ain't a Democrat. He's a sellout and an enemy of the Democrat Party now, and he has been for a long time. He's just a jackass with a famous name, because he's nothing like his daddy. I mean, or
his family,
like
exactly
his whole family. And Kennedy's like a little bit of problematic history, but for the most part, they've dedicated their lives to public service. I have to give them that. And, besides like maybe drowning a woman or stuff like that, we won't really get into that stuff. But to me, one of the most important points, and this is topic 5 for the show, is I love the fact that RFK Jr.'s stupid plan. Like, if you sound like a MAGA and you quack like a MAGA and you dance like a MAGA, you may end up being a MAGA. And of course, we were not shocked. He acted like, when he dropped out of the race and he was pretending like he was figuring out who he was going to endorse. Fuckface, we knew why you ran. You were trying to defeat Biden. So it was old white guy trying to help the other old white guy beat the other old white guy. And now that a woman of color that's decidedly younger than the old 2 white guys that originally were running is jumped into the race, and the price of poker is going up. RFK goes, the only people I'm going to pull are MAGAs that don't want to vote for Trump. All the data came back, and 99% of the people supporting him were QAnon people that like his conspiracy theories on vaccines. And they're going, these jackasses voted for Trump last time. Oh, shit. And now he can't come off the ballot in a lot of states, including battleground states, where they go, no, we've already printed these sons of bitches. We're sorry. You can hang up and try again. If you've gotten to this recording, Eric, please hang up and try again. Boop, boop, beep.
Yeah.
You know, you're fucked. You're fucked, dipshit. Guess what? You're a political family, and you didn't know when they dip out, dum. Hey, that's you're in the find out stage. You fucked around all year, dum. And he's supposedly a lawyer, an Ivy League educated attorney. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in how dumb RFK Jr. really is. And how, I mean, perfect MAGA. I mean, he fits right in. Like, there is not, like, they could just insert him. And he's got this weird entitlement where he thinks he should just be coronated. Like, he was expecting something from Trump this whole time. I'm going, dude, you don't realize you did nothing to affect the Democrat Party. The only kind of jackass that would vote for you is a MAGA, a dissatisfied MAGA that wouldn't vote for Trump for whatever reason.
And an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take a Q nut or a Proud Girl or a Moms for Liberty type person that's really like not a regular Republican that's semi like some of our friends. Like we've got
almost like a libertarian.
Yeah. They've gone hard libertarian. They're not like our friend Jeff that's a libertarian that has some common sense. Not a lot, but some. But Jeff has, he can come back into and go, no, I can like when we did Wired and Tired a few years ago, the predecessor to Two Queers and a Truck. Jeff, a lot of times Jeff and I, by the end of the episode, would agree on a lot of things. We're going, there's some things that you can't disagree on, like, I don't know, human rights, those sort of thing. And Jeff at least had common sense. But I'm talking about the paint chip wearing, boot hat wearing, goofy ass libertarian, Q nut, crazy MAGA Republican. The same people that would vote for like an MTG or a Boebert or and feel good about it. It's not that they just vote for Republicans and vote red no matter what. It's also they vote for them because they actually like them.
Yeah.
The scary kind of, trailer trash that it just embraced and then loved in the Republican Party and probably also dates their cousins. And, and it's just what the Republican Party has become, and that's the only kind of person that's going to vote for a crazy anti-vaxxer whack job like RFK. But it's not going to be a Democrat. Democrats don't think that. I don't think there's enough conspiracy theorists in the Democrat Party to even fill a phone booth, much less anything else. And that's the good thing is why most of us are Democrats. There's a lot of things that we can disagree with inside the Democrat Party. We're not 100% perfect by any. We have our cringy people like former Governor Mario or Governor Cuomo. We have those too. We have people that we go, we haven't always had our stellar hours either. We've picked some doozies too, but more often than not, we, especially in the last 30 or 40 years, have pretty much self-corrected. We don't. Somebody like Donald J. Trump could never ascend in our party. We don't think that way. We have enough intelligent people, enough people with some common sense and decency to go, no, this, and we're diverse enough. We're diverse enough to where our diversity is our strength. It's kind of our filter. Like, oh, that guy's a racist. And not worried about offending our base by fighting against a racist. We know that being a racist is the wrong thing to do. To be an outspoken racist like Donald Trump, he wouldn't even be able to get on the ballot with us. We'd go, nah, dude. Like, come on, go stay in your lane. We don't want you. and we would have showed up in the ballot box like we did with a couple of the billionaires that ran in 2020. We saw them for who they are. We saw the transphobia. We saw the homophobia. We saw some cringy shit come out of some of the high wealth individuals that ran for the nomination against Biden and everybody else. We're like Bloomberg, he's a jackass.
Mm-hmm.
But in our system, we recognize he's a jackass, and that's why he didn't win a fucking thing, no matter how much money he
Exactly.
spent. He could not buy the votes.
And he was a person in our party that you're correctly you hit the nail right on the head, Jenny. He's the person in our party that he ran. Our party made the decision. This is not someone that that this is not the type of individual that we want as a candidate. But we want you to stay in the party and help fund us. Everyone has a role to play.
Correct.
Not everyone can be a candidate. Whereas the other party believes even the dumbest can run.
Yes, we promote them. And we even told Andrew Yang not once but twice he ran for president. We told him,
exactly.
No, and then he tried to run for mayor.
Yeah,
what a drop right. The next year. And New York City went, no, we'll pass.
That's right.
And as a billionaire, you can't even become mayor of a city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let that sink in. Granted, New York City is a massive city, and on top of it, he's a racial minority in this country. He's Asian. Yeah. That tells you how problematic Andrew Yang is. But we were willing to take his money. We were willing to, hear him out, and he got his day. He got to run, but he couldn't get traction because, for the most part, he's a problematic person. And he said some problematic things. He's got one thing that I really like, which is the basically the Social Security for all, the universal livable, safety net income, to where everybody below a certain income would get, a livable income supplement, and to eliminate poverty in this country. I'm totally for that. I'm totally for a safety net. I believe in handouts. I think when you rise tides, we should lift all boats, not just the yachts, but the dinghies, the tiny little fishing boats, the paddle boats. Everything should be lifted up. We shouldn't just say, well, it's okay to give welfare to the billion-dollar multinational companies and bail out banks and everything else. But regular Americans, we begrudge them getting free school lunches, free books, free tuition. God forbid somebody gets their $10,000 worth of student loans waived, but we'll forgive $1 billion worth of loans to the Import-Export Bank, for Boeing. They've made some bad business move, and all of a sudden they got themselves in economic trouble, and then we bailed them out because of their stupidity. That just is very bizarre to me. Like, you won't help a neighbor, but you'll help a big multinational company that wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire.
And who don't pay any taxes.
Yeah, and typically don't pay their fair share of taxes, which is very bizarre. When they go, well, it's not fair to bail one person out and not another person. I'm going, well, it's not a choice. It's not that our federal government is picking one person over another. It's just that some people got in over their head. We had a society that took advantage of these young people that came from typically poor families, and then, maybe the student loan isn't such a bad idea, not realizing the ramifications or the fact that over several years you accumulate that much debt because you don't make the payments while you're in college. You make payments it's deferred to after you're out. And then you realize the interest on those things is worse than what a mafia would charge. And that you can spend 20 years and still not pay down the 80 grand, 90 grand that you borrowed. You literally will still owe 70 grand after making payments for 10 or 20 years. And people are going, shit, you can't refile it in bankruptcy. These hucksters that had set this system up are the Betsy DeVosses of the world. She holds more student debt than anybody. Wonder why they're opposed to waiving the student debt and paying it off early. But anyway, this is the end of the show, and I do want to do one more shout out. Please, it's not too late to register to vote. Month of September should be voter registry awareness month. I don't know why it is. You in every state in the United States. So everybody that listens to this show that is an American citizen that is eligible to vote, and they're above 18, and you just get registered. You check your registration too, and get registered. That's step one. We'll talk about step two on another show. Y'all have a great week, and we're going to dance out. And thanks for listening. Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all, if you're seeing this commercial, it is my birthday week, which is September 17th. You can get me a present. And I'll tell you what it is. It is registering to vote if you're not registered. And if you are registered, make sure that you're still registered. You can check online and double check that you are still registered in the state that you think you were registered in. But anyway, do me a favor. It'd be a great present. If you are a long-time listener to the show, it would mean the world to me if you went out and did that as an action step. Anyway, have a great week, and happy birthday to me, and we'll see you next week. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. Happy birthday.